Good morning. So on this video, I'm going to be looking at some of the things that you can do uh, to resolve burnout. Now, burnout is partially an individual issue, but it's also an organizational issue. It's not one or the other because it affects some people. Certain people have a certain predisposition to suffering from a burnout. Other people don't. At the same time, it happens due to a situation that's caused by the organizations that people are working for. So it's really important to recognize, oh, it's something to do with me, but it's not completely my fault. And also to recognize, oh, the organization has got a responsibility. And yeah, it doesn't affect everybody, it does affect an awful lot of people these days. So that's the first thing, to recognize it's a shared responsibility. At a very individual level, personally, if you're in a burnout, you need to build your resources so that you can better handle this challenging situation that you're in. How do you build your resources? Well, there's evidence now to show that mindfulness can really help. Focusing is another method that helps people to get distance from whatever's happening in their lives. Whole body focusing in particular helps you to learn to receive the resources and to receive the support from your environment. So using focusing to build inner strengths will help you to get through your burnout and to recover quickly so that you can go on to something else, whether it's to go back to your old job, to find a new job within the organization, or to do something different. But getting yourself back on your feet so that you can get on with your life. That's very, very important. Get support. So whether you go to a medical doctor or a psychologist, and whether it's an individual psychologist or whether it's a psychologist that is provided by your company, is a personal choice. Some medical doctors, some psychologists, especially in Belgium, are giving advice that says, don't talk to your employer, get yourself well, don't talk to them, don't involve them. Now, that's not necessarily, that advice is kind of perhaps overprotective, because at the end of the day, hopefully as an employee, you will go back to your organization and you need to make sure that the situation that you go back to is different in some way than the situation that caused your burnout. Maybe that you can go back to your same job, but something will need to be different. So it's also important that you reach out to other people. And it might well be that there are others within your organization that are suffering the same kind of issue that you're suffering, that they are suffering burnout for the same reasons that you do. For instance, if you have a feeling that your work is not recognized, even though you get a nice, a reasonably healthy paycheck at the end of the month, if you feel that your actual work is not getting any recognition, and there's no way for your personal or team work to be recognized at a wider level within the organization, it's often demotivating because people end up feeling like, well, what's the point? Nobody even noticed that I made this great project and I got a really good profile for our company, but nobody ever came back to me and said anything. So why would I bother making the effort next time? So that's just a little example of how recognition and reward is not only the financial component. So in that kind of situation, you need to find other people who have got a similar issue, figure out what the real issues are at an organizational level, and then be in contact with the right people in the organization. So with this example of getting adequate reward, you would hopefully reach an agreement of an appropriate way to recognize staff that do outstandingly well in a way that was perceived to be fair and a way that helped people to get the recognition that they're craving for. So, in short, you can't solve burnout on your own, but you can do an awful lot to build your resources to help manage things. So perhaps you can even stop yourself going into a burnout. However, all of those warning signals that are coming from the situation need to be dealt with. Now, either if you work for an enlightened company, they may initiate this kind of staff survey to find out what's going on with their staff and how motivated or otherwise they are, and to identify some of these key issues. But you might not work for such an organization, in which case you need to create a group yourself of other people who are in a similar situation within the organization, so that you can then come up with suggestions and show the management team that this is an important issue that needs to be addressed, because you can't solve it on your own completely. You need to find a way, together with your organization, to come up with better solutions to the problems. Because let's face it, everybody wants to work for an organization where everybody has got a sense of purpose and is happy in their jobs and feels that they're making a worthwhile contribution and is making some change. We all want that. Unfortunately, we don't all have it. And the organization has got a lot to contribute in terms of helping that better, not only so that people don't go into burnout, but so that there is a more engaged workforce, which is going to lead to better work, and which at the end of the day is also going to help the company to make money, which, of course, that's one of the objectives. Okay, so those are my thoughts on what you can do about burnout for now. See you then. Bye.